One of the problems that I see people have when they start trying to develop apps is they come from a pure vibe coding background and they get frustrated because the apps that they want to build end up becoming too complex and they get stuck because when you're just vibe coding, one complexity stacks on top of another, and before long, your app fails. So we're going to solve that today because with tools like Claude Code and the Conductor Framework, which I'm going to give you for free, you don't have to worry about this complexity anymore. It can make all this stuff really simple. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today is how to take a very complex thing like building agents and databases and HTTP requests and MCPs and make it so simple that anyone can do it, especially when you're using something as powerful as Claude 4.5 and the Conductor Framework. Let me show you what I mean. Before we dive in real quickly, there's two tools you're going to need. You're going to need a coding agent. I suggest Claude Code. And then you're going to need the Conductor Framework, which you can download for free at testinprod.co. Now let me show you how the Conductor Framework works with Claude Code. What I'm going to show you today is just one of the workflows that exists in the Conductor Framework, and this is one that's specifically built to help you build agents. So it's like an agentic human flow. And if you're looking at this screen, you might understand what these things are, but a lot of people don't. And the ideal scenario for building an agent is you don't have to worry about the database or what's happening with the logic. All you need to describe is what problem you have and what you would like to see happen on a screen. And then the agent goes and takes care of all of this. And that's what this workflow will actually do for you. I'm building this and sharing it with you because one of the apps I'm building right now has a very complicated agentic workflow in it. And I'm using the agent flow workflow in the Conductor Framework to build it myself. And I thought I might as well share it with you all this so you can see how it actually works. But essentially what's going to happen is you're just going to describe out loud what you need. The workflow is going to walk you through this step by step and explain what's going on. And then the agent will have everything it needs to build your entire workflow. Let me show you. Okay, so the first thing you know is you can run the Conductor Framework anywhere. You can run it in a web app like this, or you can run it in a terminal like this. If this looks scary to you, don't worry because I'm going to show you how to run it in a Claude Code web app instead. So what we're looking at here is the Claude Code desktop app, and you can chat, you can run Claude Code, or you can use the new framework, which is Cowork. Cowork is like the terminal that I just showed you, and it allows Claude Code to see and use everything on your desktop. I'm going to demo this today in Cowork because it's a really cool new tool, and it actually shows the thinking that I've programmed into this workflow really well. So the first thing you'll see when you start the workflow is the agent is actually going to tell you something like this. We're starting the Agentic Flow design workflow. Let me explain what this is and why it's useful. The workflow helps you design interactions where a human and an agent work together. Think of any feature where the user kicks something off and AI does work in the background, and then the user reviews it or uses the result. So it will give you an explanation, and at any point in time, you can stop and ask the agent what it means. And now it's going to go through and make sure I understand what's going on, and then start asking me some questions, which I'll just speak back to it like it's a colleague. So it says, does this make sense? Any questions before we dive in? No, I don't have any questions. Let's go ahead and dive in. So now you can see it starting to think and it's showing its thinking. And if you're wondering how I'm speaking to the computer, it's with an app called Whisperflow, and I'll put a link to that in the description as well. But anyway, it says, don't worry about structure yet. Just walk me through it like you're explaining it to a colleague. So that's what I'm going to do. Thanks. I'm building an app that has a bunch of logs that kind of logs what I do every single day. And I need all of those logs to be collated and put into a document where I can read them. And I want those logs summarized too. And based off of my needs, I want the agent to go out and pull in other analytics data from other apps and bring them into this document along with the summaries of my logs. Does this make sense to you? There's more to it than that, but that's a decent overview to get us started with a conversation. So now it's going to think a little more and it's going to ask me some clarifying questions. So here it says a few things I'm curious about. What kicks this off? Is this something you trigger manually? Give me a weekly report, or does it run on a schedule or something else? So if you didn't have a tool like this workflow or working with an agent, you might need to know about something like a cron job. But if you're watching this, you might not know what a cron job is. All that is a piece of code that runs that will schedule the computer to do something for you. But with this, I can just tell it in natural language what I want. So here's how I'll do that. For your first question, I actually want this agent to be triggered in a couple of different ways. One is if I ask it to do this, I want it to go off and start this workflow. The other is I want to be able to review these documents in the morning. So I would like for something to trigger it to go look at all the analytics and the logs before I wake up, so it's ready for me in the morning. And then before I review stuff at night, I would like for it to go look at all my logs to know what I've done throughout the day as well. Does this make sense? So now it thought some more and it's saying, yes, this makes sense. I should reflect this back to continue probing on the other questions. So it knows that it needs to go back and think, and it's got a whole script that it'll run you through, and it takes about 10 or 15 minutes, depending on how complex your idea is, to have it ask you everything. So then it explains its understanding back to me. Yeah, that makes total sense. So you've got 3 trigger modes. On demand, you explicitly ask for it, morning prep and evening prep. So yeah, that's my understanding. That's how this is supposed to work. And what this agent's going to do is it's going to keep on going through and pulling out little details about this flow. And then it will walk through and step and say, here's what's happening on the screen. Here's what the logic is doing. Here's what's being stored in the database. And here's what the database is sending back to your screen for you to display. You don't have to know about any of the intricacies that happen in between your screen and a database. You don't need to know anything about the logic or APIs or MCPs or anything like that. You just need to describe what you want, and it will give you step by step exactly what it needs to do. It packages all this stuff up and then creates a project folder and gets the build all ready for you. And this is just one of the things that the Conductor Framework does. There's a lot more to it than this. But that is how you can make building agents and other things really easy. If you want to use something like the Conductor Framework, I've got workflows for everything. I've trained the agent to be like a little buddy that somebody who knows nothing about coding could go open up, and it will walk them through everything you need to do from the beginning of your app all the way to production releases. It'll build in everything for you, including security, all the databases. It knows everything about technologies. It knows how to act like a CTO. It has different personas. It knows how to act like a product manager, and it will walk you through and hold your hand through all of this stuff. So I just started the channel, and I don't know if this is too high level for people or too detailed for people. So if you're using the Conductor Framework and you've already gotten it or you go download it, please let me know how you like it. With little tutorials or tips that I'm giving like this, let me know if this is too detailed or not detailed enough or too high level and you already know stuff like this, or if you want to know more about the Conductor Framework and how I use this to build apps. But anyway, you can go get that for free here. And if you like it, let me know. If not, let me know too. And I'll talk to you all tomorrow.